What is up, all you GBA type people? This is Tom bringing you guys week 4 of the GBA against my good friend and our interdivision rival, John, aka Pokemon, aka the New Orleans Pelippers. Now, I love facing John every year. Him and I have had two good battles that have come down to 1-0s ever since he started back in Season 2 when he took over for the Orlando Melodic. Now, him and I, our battles are so down to the T in preparation, in predictions, and especially just in good, solid gameplay. And there's really nothing more you can ask for in terms of a GBA match. And I know that is going to follow suit, especially in this season, because I think on both of our ends, when we saw that we played each other in week 4, and then again on the final week in week 12, we circled that match and said this match is going to be important because we know that him and I are both good enough to make the playoffs, especially with 3 playoff spots up for grabs. You better believe that him and I are fighting for those spots. Just gonna warn you guys, this might run a little long, this narration, just because I have a lot to say about John and I, team-wise, and even in right after the battle narration. But I ask you to stick with it because, again, I have a lot to say about this battle, and it is certainly one to remember. So let's get into the team breakdown. His team is filled with threats. I think John did a really good job in terms of drafting both offensive power and then defense. Now, for the guy who only had 1 water resist, and I'm not going to make that a big thing because I know everyone else does, him bringing in Goodra and Starmie, and then, yeah, that's it. And then having just that huge bulk with Deoxys D, it definitely kind of evens out his team, and then not to mention just all the offensive power. So, starting with his top tier threats, Conkeldurr, Nidoking, and Talonflame, I definitely think that these 3 are going to be coming to our match. They historically have, except maybe for the first time I battled him. But Nidoking is nothing to F with. And then Conkeldurr and Talonflame are just great, great physical attackers. And certainly do pressure my team in terms of switch-ins and defensive walls and the whole 9 yards. And then Deoxys D, nothing on my team can one-shot it from full HP, even Kieran Black. So I know that I have to dispatch this very quickly because he could pressure me with Stealth Rock and Spikes, like he has historically done, and it's something I certainly have to look out for. And then after that, you have Starmie and Goodra. Starmie and Goodra are just great special attackers, and especially with Goodra, that Assault Vest Goodra set is something that I faced it again when Fizzy had it last season, and then now I'm going to be facing it twice this year. But I think my team this year stacks up well with it. But it's certainly something I have to be prepared for because, if I don't have something to dismantle Goodra, then it's definitely going to rip a hole in my team because it has access to Dragon Pulse and Sludge Wave, so Clefable can't really switch in freely. And then Starmie, I had it for the past 2 seasons. I know what it can do, and I know it's a great mon. I know if Clefable wasn't available, I would have picked up Starmie in the first round. But alas, Clefable fits my team a little better, and Starmie was just a nice asset, but not necessarily something to pick up. But I do feel bad for not having it again, even because it is one of my favorite mons to use. Speaking of which, I think the 6 I just mentioned, Conkeldurr, Nidoking, Talonflame, Deoxys D, Starmie and Goodra are going to be his top 6 mons to bring against me, solely because they create a good core in terms of walls, and not only that, but just the offensive presence of, Conk and Talonflame physically, and the Nidoking and Starmie on the special side just create such a good presence against my team. So those are the mons I'm predicting. With John's team, and we'll see if I'm right on that one. But then, rounding out the rest of his roster, we have Azumarill and Galvantula, with who I definitely could see him bringing them, but I know that he had issues with Azumarill. Last season was a little different because I had Zardwai, and Zardwai with the Sun kind of nullifies the waterfall damage, especially because I know he likes to run the Assault Vest set or the Leftover set over the Choice Banded set because it really does limit him when a team like mine has such diverse walls, and last year when he had to play around the weather effects. And then Galvantula, I think it would be a good option, or it would be a trade-off between, bringing Nidoking, because you do have the Sticky Web, and you do have the Electric Stab, which is good against my team in a way, and then also, you have just the Bug Stab, which, all of which can do a fair amount to my team. And then finally, of his tier 3 Mons, being Breloom, Mega Sableye, and Rhyperior. Now, I didn't quite think that these Mons were as threatening this time around. Breloom because I think that Arcanine does a really good job with handling Breloom, and it's kind of hard for Breloom to... Obviously, it could sub with the Focus Punch and all that, but it's really hard for Breloom to get going with a team that has Clefable and Arcanine, and especially a fast flying type like Staraptor. And Mega Sableye, this is the first time, I think, so far that I've put a Mega below, a tier 2 in terms of how much it threatens my team, because when I looked at Cooper's team, and I looked at Fizz's team, and I looked at Nex's team, all three of their Megas were something I really had to prepare for, because they had the speed, or the power, or, just stuff like that. And then finally, Rhyperior. This thing would just not be a good Pokemon to bring, because it is so slow, and everything on my team basically can outspeed it and two-shot it with its low special defense. But it's, again, John's roster is nothing to sleep on, and certainly I prepped for everything, and I spent since Sunday at about 4 o'clock just looking over his team over and thinking and preparing and speculating. And you know what, if you want to think about a set that I thought about to bring against John, I probably thought about it, because I went through every Pokemon I had to consider what was a good team to bring against John, which we will see right now if my planning was correct, and we'll get into the battle. So I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, looking at team preview, it seems like I got all 6 of John's Mons correct. And that's what I expect when it comes to, John and I battling, because, hell, the planning is just pristine. So, my team is a Choice Scarf Staraptor, a Sub Curem, Sub Life Orb Alakazam, and then defensive Clefable, Arcanine, and special defensive Latias this week. Now this team, I think, gave me the best possible chance to take on John with all of his threats and everything that he has to bring against me. So we start off, and like I expect, he's going to lead off with Deoxys, he did last season, and even Choice Band Staraptor cannot take this thing out in one shot. But there's one little thing about Staraptor that I have overlooked prior to this, and that is Final Gambit. And I have thought, I never actually thought about how good Final Gambit could be. Staraptor has a base 85 HP stat, and Deoxys only has a base 50 HP stat, so I thought if he started with Deoxys, I could bring in Staraptor and just knock it out. Choice Scarf Staraptor, this does exactly what I wanted to do. Turn 1, take out Deoxys, no hazards, that's it. So we start off 5-5. Right here, I expected him to go, I thought right as I clicked on Latias, he would go into Talonflame, because Talonflame, has U-turn, it's fast, and I should have went to Arcanine, because this is kind of like a reactionary, he U-turn, switches out, versus me having Arcanine in. I could have switched out, I could have taken the U-turn, and then I could have dealt with it otherwise, but he U-turns out into Nidoking. And this Nidoking, I specifically have Latias for Nidoking and for Starmie, and then I have Arcanine for Talonflame, and Clefable for Conkeldurr, and then Talonflame if it really gets down to that point. But that's not primarily what I want Clefable to handle. But he goes for Sludge Wave, and that looks like Life Orb, sheer force damage, but also timid. So I was perfectly okay with just going for a Psyshock right here, because nothing on his team wants to take a Psyshock. And Guja's going to take about, 40-50% from this. That's a solid, right about 40%. And, you know, I'll get leftovers back, and right here, I switch out because I'm expecting a Dragon Pulse, and this thing, and Starmie I haven't even seen yet, so I know I don't want to take any special damage, and I have Clefable, and he goes for Dragon Tail. Obviously doesn't do anything because I'm immune to it, but he does have Sludge Wave, and this is a lot of damage. Now, my play right here, maybe I could have went for Moonblast, and gotten the special attack drop. He gets the really unfortunate poison right there. And you'll see that status has become a huge thing in this battle. But I knock off the Assault Vest. I figured this would solely be for later on, in case, you know, I lose Clefable, which more likely I will, which you'll see right here. He goes second Sludge Wave. I had nothing that really wanted to come in and take the Sludge Wave. I did not want to let a lot of guys take more damage, with Starmie and Nidoking still being at really high HP. Even though I know Nidoking has Sucker Punch, it's always historically has Sucker Punch. But I come right in with Kyurem Black. Now, Kyurem Black this game was going to be really important. This Kyurem Black has enough speed to outpace Timid Nidoking, and it has enough attack to one-shot pretty much everything. It's a Kyurem Black, and then enough special attack to just handle whatever I needed to do with a lot of HP. As you can see, 203 HP is a pretty sizable HP investment. But I go for sub just in case he wanted to switch out and go for Dragon Tail. I figured he was just going to sack this off. Second, I brought Kyurem Black in. I figured he has nothing that wants to take a Dragon Claw or an Ice Beam or Fusion Bolt. So I figured just, you know, sub up, see what he wants to do. See if he does switch out, then I get up behind a sub. But if not, you know, I take, you know, I get rid of 25%, get back 12 or whatever, and you know, I just go for Dragon Claw, knock him out. So there you go. And of course he's going to bring Conkeldurr. That Drain Punch, that Mach Punch is just far too threatening. But Arcanine is specifically made to handle Talonflame and to handle Conkeldurr. You know, especially with Clefable going down. Clefable just did whatever I needed to do, just knock off the Assault Vest, and that's no big deal. Clefable was solely a wall. But I go for HP. I was thinking he'd go in Talonflame here. It was kind of stupid. Just go for HP Rock. And John's best play right here is to go for Poison Jab. And Poison Jab, he's looking for that poison status. And I think I'll just go for Morning Sun once, see what happens. And here he goes again for Poison Jab. He's just fishing for that poison hacks. And you know what? Realistically, he will get it. Now I go for Flamethrower here, and I was like, this will do some damage. Just don't get the fucking... God damn it. Oh, John has tried to bring in Conkeldurr on a Scald, and you know, every time he doesn't get the Scald burn. But with me, the one time I got that 10% Flamethrower hacks, you know, he fucking gets it. I knew right as I clicked it that I was gonna get the burn, but in a way it kind of helped. I figure he got the poison hacks and I have the burn hacks. I have a means of getting 50% of my HP back, but he also now has Guts boosted Drain Punches, which will give him his HP back, and probably giving him about as much HP as I'm going to be trying to recover up. I'm going to do this next turn as well, because, you know, I see him at 96. I just want to see how much I can get back up and see if I'm actually winning this or if I'm losing this. And then from there, I figure I could reevaluate the situation and then move on from there. But I see here that, you know, I'm losing basically about 1 HP every time he goes for this. So I figure just go out for damage, and we'll switch in, because basically everything I have, especially Alakazam, can knock out this Conkeldurr. It just sucks, though, that, you know, I got the Flamethrower burn from, you know, the first time I use it, because Flamethrower was doing a sizable amount of damage, and without the Guts boost, I think I would have came out of this exchange a little bit better, and probably could have lived a Talonflame switch in, even with the Flamethrower, or even with the Poison Jab, Poison. But right here, just go for Flamethrower, and, or actually no, I went for Flamethrower for knockoff, and I think he's maybe predicting a switch, yeah, he just knocks me out with the Mach Punch, no big deal. Arcanine did what I needed to do, and I have enough things on my team to take on Talonflame. Right now, we're basically at 3-4 right now, I think. But going to Alakazam, and he goes for Mach Punch. He knows that he just needs to sack this, and he's to break a Sash, if I potentially have such. But like I said in Team Preview, I have Substitute, and I know that that's why I need this thing up behind a sub, because obviously Talonflame is faster than Alakazam. So he's going to go for Mach Punch, he's going to break my sub, get off that damage, but I also know that I can get up a second sub. I have enough HP to get up that sub. This is a sub Life Orb Alakazam, and when I'm behind that sub, I can at least either get super much damage or take out something. And that's exactly what I plan on doing. So I go, and he switches out right into Talonflame, and this is not choice banded, but he knows he has more than enough speed to outpace timid Alakazam. So he goes out and switches into Starmie, and he breaks my sub, and he's gonna U-turn out into Starmie. The way he brought that in, I kind of figured it couldn't be choice scarfed. That just doesn't make sense based on his team. And Starmie, you know, if you put a scarf on Starmie, it basically doesn't, you can't have Wrap Spin on it then, and that's what he likes about Starmie. So I figured Psyshock Shadow Ball combo should knock it out. This is a Life Orb Alakazam, and it did exactly what I needed to do. It got up behind a sub, it did some damage, and then it killed something. But Alakazam is going to go down here unfortunately to a U-turn by Talonflame. Basically Talonflame has been a U-turner machine right here. And that's perfectly okay because I can handle it. It's no big deal. But he U-turns out and he goes right into Nidoking, as I believe have one Mon left and he has two. But you gotta remember, I have Kieran Black. Oh, I have Latias and Kieran Black. So I figure here we're 2-on-2. Latias, Kieran Black, Nidoking, and Talonflame. I knew he had Sucker Punch. I planned for Sucker Punch. I have enough HP to live that hit. Maybe if I had a little bit more HP special attack investment, I think I have like 16 EVs into special attack. Maybe I could have taken him out, but it's really no big deal. You know, I got the damage off that I need, and right now he's forced to go for Sheer Force attacks because Sheer Force boosted attacks, I should say. Because if he doesn't, he knows he's gonna get knocked out. I had nothing to do there, but either go for attack or go for Roost. Both of which were just decent enough plays on my end. How the rocks damage, you know, Kieran Black comes in, doesn't take any damage, which is crucial. And right here I go for the sub, thinking that maybe he'd go for Sucker Punch. But when he did the calc, he saw that Sucker Punch did 20 to 24%, and he knows that if he predicts wrong, I gotta get up behind a sub, and then I get to take that Sucker Punch, and maybe even go for a second sub as he dies the Life Orb recoil. But he just goes for Earth Power, and I see that's what he's gonna do. Right here I was hoping he doesn't go for Sucker Punch, because I have to knock it out. Go for Ice Beam, and I knock it out. And I'm pretty sure I'm in a range that I could take a Brave Bird from a Talonflame, because that thing cannot be choice banded based on the damage, or just based on what it has been going for. And realistically, choice banded Talonflame wouldn't have been outsped. Maybe it would have been outsped, but probably not by the Alakazam. So this is the moment of truth right here. We're at 1-1. Do I live this Brave Bird? Can I live? Kieran Black on the Dragon Wings. We live at 33. And thank God, the Fusion Bolt knocks out the Talonflame, and that is it. We win 1-0 in the best battle I've ever had with John. I always love facing John for this reason. We have these great, down-to-the-wire, Mon-for-Mon type matches, and it is so refreshing to have these types of battles in the GBA. As you guys saw, I had a terrible match last week against Cooper, and ever since that, I will tell you guys, I am fighting. I will not let that 6-0 happen ever again. I will never let my planning overlook one Mon solely because of one aspect, whether it's its speed, its attack stat, it's whatever. Every Mon is a threat. Every Mon needs to be prepped for, and I am going to fight my ass off to make sure I make up for that 6-0 and then some. If I don't win that division, I will win that wild card. I have to face off against Steve, Dan, Adam, Nexus, and now the Sorknist, who has replaced Joe, as you guys might have seen in the Saturday recap video. But Cooper looks like he's a lockup for his for the Silver Division, and then John and I for this division. But I tell you what, guys, I will be fighting to week 12 to get back, and then some, on that horrible loss last week, because that will never happen again. And I don't just let one small setback really hurt me, because that's just not what I do. And I've never been like that, and this league is way too fun for me to just lay down and not care after a loss like that. Like you see right here, I plan the hell out of John. I will plan the hell out of Dan, and I'll plan the hell out of Steve. We have free agency coming up, and this is Sunday, so I have dropped Hitmonchan, and I'll be picking up Hariyama, the Season 2 MVP, which is no big deal for me. Yeah, I drop a Rabbit Spinner, but I still have technically 3 defoggers, 2 of which are actually viable, and one of which is kind of a stretch. But hey, with an Intimidate, basically kind of like utility Staraptor, I can make it work. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. I enjoyed narrating it. I enjoy any battle I have against John. It's always a good one, always a really solid effort on both of our parts, and definitely a good watch. So give it a like, give it a comment. I always love talking to you guys in the comments. This battle is definitely much easier to watch than last week's battle, and I'll be looking forward to battling our next interdivision conference match next week against Dan, the newcomer, the expansion team, with that very very sunny team on these cold days. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.